Money, Marriage, and Media, and today we're looking at cruise season. Now, these brothers here, I got a lot of respect for them because number one, they have no problem holding both genders accountable. So you're gonna get that balance I'm talking about, which is so important to relationships. But again, you get a variety of men because again, we got three on the panel this time. So we've got one who's single, one married, and then one divorced. So let's go ahead and get this started. By the way, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and put in insert a card here for the previous video that I did with them. Was it just an introduction where you can go check out some of their YouTube shorts? I react to that. Go check that video out. But let's go ahead and get it started.
Shit, yeah, men got to hold men accountable, women got to hold women accountable, but I also don't
There you go.
see nothing wrong with holding the opposite side accountable too. It's like if we gonna get somewhere, the conversation needs to be had. Hey, this is what you're doing wrong. And they can do the same thing. This is what y'all are doing wrong. And then we take it in, go back to the drawing board and fix this shit. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But yeah, men got to step it up. A lot of men are lacking right now. Statistics show it. But at the same time, you also see a lot of men thriving too. So I understand that. I understand that a whole bunch, but I don't know. It's tough out here because you'll have the men that's trying to hold other men accountable, and then you this, you that, and try to and then the same side with women. With women, you will pick me if you try to hold them accountable. So we all.
Yeah, it's not going to be much for me of a reaction here because I actually agree with him 100%. If you're single, then other men should be holding you accountable. And same thing for women. Women should hold other single women accountable. If you're married, then you guys have to be accountable. Well, number one, you have to agree who's supposed to lead in that relationship. Most women want men to lead. Now, the only reason I put that as a caveat is because the marriage rates is what they are. I'm not going to discount anybody if you're comfortable with the woman leading the relationship. I got no problem. Y'all just have to there are less models out there for that marriage to be successful. But if that's what you want and that's what you find, then hey, you go ahead and rock out and be successful at that. But the point is that men and women, you guys are supposed to be holding each other accountable. If you're the man and you're not leading, if the plan is not working out, then I would expect your wife to come up to you and say that, okay, well, babe, hey, this isn't working out quite like you said it was, so we may need to make an adjustment. That's what I would consider a wife holding a husband accountable. The other way around is a little bit easier because, again, the man's supposed to be in a leadership role. So
all got to get out of each other's way and just start listening. And everybody don't necessarily have to have a certain background or be an expert in something for you to listen to them. Conversations need to be had in general. But we don't really have too many people to just look up to, and we don't have enough influencers and just positive people in general. Like
facts. That speaks to another point that I've raised on this channel several times about we need to improve the marriage in our community has an image problem, and it's mainly because not enough married people are speaking up. We need more married couples on YouTube, plain and simple, because that's a good way to set the example. And the funny thing is that if you talk to people in real life, almost everybody knows a couple who's been married and is being successful at it. But when we come to YouTube, it's not as much. So we just need to get more representation, more married people who are actually speaking up about stuff.
Why all of our people got to be an athlete or entertainer or something like that. We don't put too much stock in just the everyday person or, a lawyer, a doctor or things like that. Like we don't raise our kids like that. A lot of times it's just sports for the most part. You pushing in sports, but not as much on their education. It's like, yeah, make enough to pass to play, but it's not. You need to be making all A's. If you have a B, I'm taking away the phone or something like
right.
There are certain households where you can't have a B in their household, period. So it starts from the ground. And I think we do have some grounds to hold them accountable. But yeah, that's true too. We need to hold ourselves accountable just as much.
Kenny, upon first listen, You agree with what he had to say? If you had any grievances or issues with what he said, what were they?
If it's the team, why am I not the owner?
What?
You can't fire the owner, so I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
Bruh, come on, man.
That boy's a damn fool.
What?
Dog. I mean,
No.
it's valid, but he didn't say he the owner. He said he the quarterback.
Yes, but I'm no, yeah.
But I mean, when you the
Why don't
franchise quarterback, you damn near got as much.
Team, why we
as the owner.
don't get rid of the owner? But anyway, shoot.
Do black men have grounds to hold black women accountable in this era in 2022?
I will say no, and the reason being is because you can't hold somebody accountable unless the only way you can hold a woman accountable is if she's under your protection and your leadership. And the way relationships work today, that's just not the case for most women. Most women are not going to submit to any man, and they shouldn't either, because it's a lot. Number one, it's a lot of bums out here. But number two, not every man is looking to get married. So you a single guy, I've said this before. If you're a woman and you're looking to get married, stop wasting time with dudes who don't want to get married. That's just, you're wasting your time. So I wouldn't expect those men to provide you any kind of real protection or leadership, because y'all have two different goals. So that's not gonna work.
I think in ways of telling her how to love us, yes, or telling a woman, how to listen, that y'all aren't listening enough to us, men, or loving us the right way, or things that go along with relationships and how to love a man. I think we have grounds to say that because we know how we want to be loved.
Right.
I don't think another man can, or another woman can tell another woman, hey, this is how these men need to be loved, because she's not a man. She's a goddamn woman. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think we have those grounds. But when it comes to education-wise and stuff, no, we can't hold them accountable. Or dress appearance, or how we act out in public, because we all go out and do the same thing. We act crazy, wearing thousands of dollars in jewelry and shit like that, and can't pay no damn phone bill, or ain't taking care of our kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
That's shit that we need to hold each other accountable with. Like your goddamn best friend ain't take care of his kids, but he out with you every day. Why you ain't telling him to go take care of his kids? Don't come hang out.
Facts. I told y'all, they hold both men and women accountable, and those are some big issues right there. We haven't gotten to the that's something we haven't discussed on this channel, and it's mostly because I don't believe in having kids outside of wedlock. Now, if that's you, it is what it is. You got kids out of wedlock right now. You need to make the best of the situation. But if you don't start now. You setting yourself up for a lifetime of struggle. And it's not me personally saying that. The numbers say that. The statistics say that. So
that stuff we can hold each other accountable for. Being a father, how to be a father. Hey man, this is stuff you need to do as a man. These are accountable things me and you as men need to do. Don't tell a woman 100%. How to, be a good, raise her damn child while she's pregnant. Nah, that ain't our business. That's woman to woman stuff. So
yeah, I would agree. The only issues, well, I had a couple issues with what he said, but the first one being we need to hold each other accountable, and we need to hold each other accountable, and I think that's part of the issue that got us here. Women don't hold women accountable, and that's the grievance. We see it on these panels all the time, to where you will have a woman come on there and say something that everybody on the panel knows is wrong. Everybody, and women will say nothing. They will let it slide, or they'll make excuses for why she said it. But a man can come on that same panel and say the same thing, and they'll kill him for it for 45 minutes to an hour. You know what I'm saying? So when that's the climate, if they not holding each other accountable, like somebody has to hold, especially us being the leader of the household. 'Cause let's just establish another thing. This is the other grievance that I had with it. I think black men as a whole, he has a point. But there are a lot of black men in this society who have, stand up characteristics, integrity, family man, take care of their kids, do whatever the case may be. And even when these men speak, they refuse to be held accountable by these men who are widely known to be the type of man that they want, or the type of leader that they would sign up to.
You need to leave. Get out while you can. If you're with a woman who will not let you hold her accountable, and again, you're looking to be the head of the household, dude, just go find somebody else. Go find somebody else, because that's you saving yourself a world of hurt. Because that's going to be painful in the end. Don't do that.
To follow, and they don't listen anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if
Russell Wilson,
like a Russell Wilson, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, with that being the climate, it kind of jades what it is he's saying. Now, the part I do agree with in terms of black men need to set their shit up, I agree. But I think that stems from the previous generation failed us. Let's keep it honest here. Like, why do women have this mindset? And going back to what O said, starting in the household, where does that stem from? That stems from the generation before us, fathers not being in the home.
It does 100%, but this is also why I do why I'm putting together that money playlist for you guys, because a lot of the times women judge you based off the condition of your finances. So go check out that money playlist. It's important stuff in there, because again, that the whole thing is to set you up so that she can tell that you're the leader before you guys get into any kind of relationship.
For whatever the reason, you locked up in jail, drugs, all type of stuff. We can sit here and run down the list. And regardless of how much, the man or the government played in that aspect, we still willingly chose to engage. And now you done missed 20 years of your kid life. Now your daughter growing up without a father, looking at her mama be superwoman, work 3 jobs, this, that, and the third. So when she gets out in the real world, hell no, she ain't letting no man hold her accountable. Because she ain't never seen an example of that. She don't even respect men.
They hit the nail on the head. I'm telling y'all gotta go subscribe to Cruises and these brothers high level conversations.
Because of what her daddy did. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the generations before us fault. Now we suffering the cause of it. We trying to change things, because now, let's just be honest here, especially in the black community, 70% of black men are very, very active in their kid life, meaning giving them baths, meaning getting them dressed, meaning taking them to school, reading with them, going to PTA meetings, going to athletic events. 70% of black men are that active in their life. And I think it's 55% of white men or Spanish men or 45% Asian, like whatever the case may be. But black men are dominating in that regard in this era that we in. So change is coming. It's going to be rough because of, the hole that we're trying to climb out of. But change is coming. Black men in this era are trying. And if you see black men trying, if you see somebody that has solid characteristics, you should be willing to follow that. That type of man can hold you accountable.
And see, again, this goes back to what I was talking about before about representation and image. That's why it's very important that we get these, we've got to start demystifying these stereotypes and breaking this stuff down. One way to do that is to get more married people to talk about the relationships. I have a serious issue. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I have a point of contention with so-called dating coaches. Well, no, I can't say that, because they're just dating coaches. They're designed to get you on dates. I would if I was a woman, I was looking to get married, I'm gonna be hard pressed to take advice from a dating coach, because ultimately if they're talking about just dating, my goal was marriage. I'm gonna be talking to somebody who's married. That's just me though. Same thing with if you're out here trying to be, if you're a man and you want a family, then you should be hanging around with guys who are married. I mean, because they have what you want, then that's who you should be seeking advice from.
But if you willing to bypass that type of man and go deal with somebody who ain't got shit going for themselves, you're right. He don't have no grounds to hold you accountable. He don't have no grounds to hold his damn self accountable, because he's not doing it.
Yeah.
But, you can't, group us all. Black men are not a monolith, especially in this era. It's dudes out here getting to it. You know what I'm saying? And being in their kids' lives, like very, very active, working full-time jobs while they doing it too. So that's the only part that I kind of disagree with. But in terms of just black men in general, I'm gonna always say we got to step up, we got to improve, we got to do better. And it's, because we got to close that gap, and we got to change our image, and we got to be a bit more like, self reliant. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like how we move, not be so dependent on the job, not be so dependent on other people to get us to the level that we need to get to.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and leave this here, guys. Again, go ahead and check out Crew Season. Subscribe to their channel. These brothers make great content. But to summarize this, we talk about women don't want to be held accountable and all that's it's a YouTube talking point, right? So my thing is that you shouldn't be trying to hold single women accountable. You want to be able to hold a woman accountable, then you need to put a ring on her finger. That's just my thoughts. Again, I'm pro-marriage, so that's how I'm always going to view it. Now, you should... Yeah, we're just going to leave it there. The other big point that came out of this, again, high-level conversation, was we need to improve our image. Now, I talk about that a lot on here, on this channel, because, again, we need more husbands who are actually making content. Because right now, the stereotype is that, well, black men just don't want to get married. We can't never get commitment from them. That's so untrue. But the reason why that's able to continue is because the men who are actually husbands, we don't speak up. We just go pick the one for us, and then we go off and be happy somewhere else, and then you don't hear from us again. Well, it's time to start changing that. If we want to improve the marriage rates in our community, if we want to rebuild our community, then we need more of us to speak up. Well, and I say us, I'm talking about average guys. Again, this is not the place for high value conversations. Other channels for that, that's not what this is about. This is about average men. Because believe it or not, personal opinion, average men are going to move the needle more for building our community than high value men ever will. And it's just because there's not enough of those guys. And there's always going to be a finite amount of them. You can talk self-improvement as far as getting your money on point and everything else like that. But there are only so many resources out here. That's just the reality. So where does that leave you? Well, again, lead with character. Character is always in your control. And you're always going to be able to, no one can take that from you. There's always going to be more, or your character can always get to the next level. It's always something for you to build on, always something for you to improve on. So I think this was a great video. Like I said, man, it didn't even last that long if you think about it, but these brothers are great at peeling back the layers, especially on men's issues. So go follow them. Guys, like and subscribe to this video too. All right. I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video, but do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.